Hello, and welcome to Afternoon Tea with Karen and Karen's Library. I have the latest Nazi clip from today and some from yesterday, and politicians who are into abortions up until birth but are horrified by men wearing black.
A group of neo-Nazis are fronting court in South Australia after being arrested for causing scenes described by the Prime Minister as horrific. Jace Kemp is there as the men face serious charges.
Yeah, good afternoon. Well, 16 members of an alleged neo-Nazi group are right now fronting a magistrate here in Adelaide after they were arrested accused of disrupting a Survival Day rally on Australia Day. 15 men and one teenager aged just 16 are facing serious charges ranging from displaying a Nazi symbol to possessing articles of disguise. All but one of the men travelled from interstate, including WA and Tasmania, to take part in the display.
When I saw the images, I was stunned. I couldn't believe that was happening on the streets of Adelaide. We're not used to that in South Australia. So I wasn't surprised to learn that of the 16 people arrested, 15 of them weren't from here.
Because of this, it could impact their bail conditions and whether a magistrate will allow them to return home under strict orders. Today will be the first time someone in South Australia will be prosecuted under new laws of displaying a Nazi symbol, which carries a maximum penalty of 12 months imprisonment and a $20,000 fine. Now, police have stepped up their presence around court today in case there's any more disruptions on display.
So they've come all the way to Adelaide to get caught and go to court. And that's not supposed to be suspicious. And other than the Quaker beards, they are all clean shaven and they don't have tattoos up their neck. And this guy not only supports abortions up until birth, if the abortion doesn't work and the baby's born alive, he's into killing them.
There are calls tonight for a group of neo-Nazis who marred Adelaide's Australia Day celebrations to be declared a terrorist group. The Prime Minister has condemned their behaviour as horrific and hateful.
We come from the land down under!
They filled the street, marching to the chant of a racist beat.
Australia for the white man!
The far-right protesters making their way down North Terrace on Australia Day.
There is, of course, some evil forces that seek to divide.
The well-known leader of the National Socialist Network and convicted criminal Thomas Sewell taking the gang to the War Memorial.
Waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda.
As the neo-Nazis waved Australian flags.
They are trying to arrest us for peacefully assembling on our national holiday.
But police were ready, pouncing and arresting Sewell.
I am under arrest for celebrating Australia Day.
And 15 others, including a boy aged just 16, that come from all corners of Australia.
What we saw on the streets here in Adelaide yesterday was sickening and terrifying.
These things have to be nipped in the bud. It is shocking that people should think like that in this day and age.
The 16 have been charged with a range of offences, the most serious being assault and display a Nazi symbol. The first person to be charged under the new laws, which came into effect in August.
We need a review by the government to consider whether these neo-Nazi thugs are indeed a terrorist group.
The group is actively recruiting for new members here in SA.
We have zero tolerance for the activities of any of these extremist groups.
There is no place for this hateful ideology here in Australia.
The gang will face a magistrate tomorrow. Hannah Ford, 7 News.
Sarah Hanson-Young's a big advocate for trans women in women's sports and women's prisons. Those blokes, they should be a listed terrorist organisation. Oh, and she's right into the abortion thing too. And I get they had intel they were coming, but they did come across a little bit too prepared.
On
the Australia Day weekend, neo-Nazi groups on the march, white supremacists in the streets with racist chants.
Australia for the white man!
Some evil forces that seek to divide.
In Adelaide, 16 charged, most came from interstate.
It's a disgrace, an abomination. It's clearly on the rise.
Australia Day, deliberately targeted, high profile, sometimes controversial.
There's an intimidation factor. People see them out and about. Second, there is the opportunity to recruit.
On TikTok, Sydney's European Australian movement, said to be neo-Nazi, expects dynamic growth and bold recruitment for 2025, calling on people to sign up. Each year, we successfully recruit passionate members committed to our cause.
And that's the effort that they make to sort of draw them in and further radicalise them.
How do you join? What's the requirements other than race? And I love being white. But other messages. Why do you blur your faces if you are so proud? And please grow a brain.
Fascism is a filth. Don't ever contemplate that it has any place in our nation.
Calls today for the federal government to step in, use the full force of its powers to review neo-Nazi groups and whether any should be dealt with under terrorism laws.
We need the government to take it seriously and to consider all options.
In an election year, when experts warn political division could be more fertile ground for extremism. Chris Mark, 7.
So I hope you picked up that these guys aren't the same as those guys, but, you know, they're said to be.
Chided by the Prime Minister for seeking needless fights over anti-Semitism, Peter Dutton today turned his guns on a political target. Speaking outside a Jewish centre, the opposition leader equated the Greens with neo-Nazis, saying there is no place for either in Australian society.
80 years after Soviet troops liberated the Auschwitz concentration camp, Peter Dutton joined the Prime Minister at a Jewish centre in Perth.
It was very good that all sides of politics were here today. It was very positive.
The opposition leader agreed, despite persistently claiming Anthony Albanese's weakness has fed anti-Semitic attacks across Australia.
What we need to do is to not look for political differences where there aren't any.
Australia's not been alone in what has been a shocking, grotesque rise in anti-Semitism.
The opposition leader then equated the Greens with neo-Nazis.
Anybody who's spewing hatred, whether it's the Greens or the white supremacists or the neo-Nazis, they have no place in our society at all.
There is no low, responds the Greens' Adam Bant, that Peter Dutton won't sink to. Over the next 2 years, Sydney's Jewish Museum will get a multi-million-dollar makeover, part funded by the state and federal governments, and just in time, because from 2027, New South Wales high school students will do a compulsory subject in Holocaust studies. Both sides of politics are now offering millions for Holocaust education facilities across the country. Hugh Rimmington for 10 News First. So now not only do they control our arm movements, they're controlling our kids' minds. Just saying. Anyway, that'll do. See you later. Bye.